Okay, so I am live streaming right now. What the heck is this base 16 based thing? Remove, hide user on this. Let's try that. User's message will be hidden. I don't know if that's even what I should do. All right, I'm streaming for the first time ever, and I got set up like 5 minutes ago. So I'm going to need you to do two things for me. Okay, I think that base 16, I don't even know. Two things for me. If you could let me know in the chat if audio is working and if my resolution is good enough, because from my perspective, the resolution is really bad, but hopefully from your perspective, it's better. I'm hiding this person. Remove. Okay. Sounds only from the left side. Sound only from the left side. Shoot. Okay. I don't know how to fix that right now easily. I guess maybe this settings thing. Advanced audio properties. Oh, I can't figure out in a second. Okay. Mono. Mono. Maybe that's going to be it. All right. Hopefully that does it. So let me know if the mono thing did it, and also resolution good. All right, audio is only coming through the left channel. Audio is clear, left channel only. Quality is good. This latency is going to be hard. With Zoom, it's like instant. I wish there wasn't this latency, but whatever. All right, then I guess we're good to go. This is a weird feeling because I just set all this up and I feel like I have to be doing something wrong. Screen res is good. Video resolution is not. That's fine. The video doesn't matter. Okay, great. So we are all set. How do I get this? I wish I could have this chat, pop-out chat. Perfect. So now this chat is going to be on my screen. I don't know if you guys will probably see this probably, which is unfortunate, but whatever. All right, mono's good. Welcome to live chat. Looks good and sounds fine for my phone. All right, then let's do this thing. So we're going to work on Alpine today. I did this last week with Livewire, and it actually worked really well. Yeah, it worked really well. We just kind of opened up the pull request, and we actually cleared out all the pull requests and tagged a new release. I don't think that's going to happen for Alpine. Unfortunately, Livewire's, there was only like 5 pull requests. But I don't know exactly where to start. So I'm curious if anybody has any recommendations. Otherwise, I'll just kind of scan through. I think I want it to be a pull request, start from a pull request. But maybe, maybe shout out if you think that there's a particular one that I should start with. Yeah, so I guess because of the stupid freaking latency, I'm not going to know for another like 10 seconds. So I'll start talking and reading, but I'll gladly be interrupted by looking at the chat. Okay, so let's see. There's a couple things. Implement value binding on radio inputs. This seems like a pretty quick one, but I guess we should start with older ones as a higher priority because they've been, sitting there for a while. Hey, Henning. All right, so nested X4 loops. This is one that needs to be done, but it's a bear. Like this one is going to be deep, so maybe we can start a little bit simpler. Automatically call init method. All right, well, what about this one? So here's the idea. I'll introduce you to the idea really quickly, and then we can figure out if we want to work on it. Let's look at the chat. Most liked or commented PR maybe. Yeah, I know. I kind of agree with you, but the most commented PR is also the most complex one. So we'll start with this because I might be able to just close this right now. Chris, hey, how's it going? Why Dom no good? Good question. I don't know why Dom no good. I wish I knew. So here's the suggestion from people. Here it is. Get ready. Div x data. Okay. Foo bar. Yep. Sounds good, right? Well, often, let's say that you extracted this. This is a better example. You extract this into, let's say you make a function called dropdown where you return open is false. Or open is false, and toggle is a function that sets this dot open to this dot open, right? All right, what are we getting here? David Hemphill, whoa, sup Playboy. David Hemphill, what a guy. All right, so also nothing is up. What is up with you? All right, change live stream latency at the top. All right, let's try that. Hopefully it doesn't mess with it too much. Huh. It's not letting me. I probably need to end the stream to change the latency, unless someone knows of a way to change the latency. But maybe this can let me do it while I'm streaming? Yeah, probably not. So I think I'm locked into it because I started the stream. And if I end the stream, I fear that, I don't know, I'm just afraid of that. So I'll wait. Settings under stream optimization. Click stream, enter a title and description, then click stream settings. Yeah, this is stream settings, and select your latency. So stream latency, yeah. Yep. Using call with Axios, for example. Sorry, so I guess I'm going to continue with the latency unless somebody explicitly tells me, more than just from Google, if somebody explicitly tells me exactly what to do and assures me that it's a low risk, I'm going to carry on. Okay. So, doopy doopy doop. From an Axios call. Yeah, that's actually a really good example. So this is the deal. Let's say you wanted to, that is a much better example. Let's use that. Let's say you have items, and items starts out as being an empty array, and inside you have a template tag. You know, template tag is the one tag I can't write automatically. So you have a template tag, and then inside of here you have x4 item in items. Okay? And then something like span x text item. And then on initialization inside x init, you want to grab stuff from Axios. So maybe you do like, or grab stuff from an AJAX request. You do like fetch something, you know, dot then get your stuff. This is all pseudocode, but it's pretty close to the real code. And then like items equals response type thing. And that's all inline, and that's fine. But when you extract this out into a separate function, so if you did something like items, okay. If you did something like items, call this items, and this x init, you probably want to actually put inside of this function because it can be pretty long to put it up there, right? So you can put it inside here. But now, it doesn't call it automatically. You have to manually do this. You have to manually call init, which seems redundant and a little annoying. So let me check in the chat. We are sheep. We shall follow wherever you go. Then is spelled wrong. Depends who you ask. This is actually the Latin word for then, Ethan. Just kidding. Okay. So, here's the dealio. The dealio is this is redundant, okay? And multiple people have asked me if they could not do this, and there's a couple different options. Here are the two different options. So we could just automatically look for init, and if init is a method, automatically call it as init. This is probably my favorite one. And unfortunately, it's a breaking change, so it would have to wait till version 3. There's another option. We could have you return, optionally, you could return an object that's like data and init, as if both of them are kind of like first-class citizens, and then like open, false, you know, and then this would be, or I guess init would be a function. And then you do like this dot open equals whatever you want it to be on initialization. Okay, so that's option number 2. So we have A and B. Let's see what the chat says. I came for the silk smooth Gilborsio ASMR. It's silkier and smoother the earlier in the morning it is. Then it's spelled wrong, silky smooth. What about doing the fetch on outside of return? X data is init. Then what about doing the fetch on the outside of return? Not understanding, Chris, unfortunately. X data is init then. Right. You know what? That's actually very true. Here's what Chris is saying. Screw this. Well, let's keep these in our options for now. So we have option A. Option A is auto init data property. Okay. Option B is separate out data and init. Separate out data and init when returning from function. So this is kind of a weird one. Actually, Adam Wathen suggested it, so that's why I'm kind of putting it in here. But it's, and I know the way that he was using it was, I don't even remember. Anyway, whatever. All right, what about doing fetch outside? Option 1 plus 1. Option 1. Let's use A and B. I think you mean this when you say 1. Auto init. Yeah, it makes sense to me too. But here's what Chris is saying, something that you could actually do right now, which is very interesting, actually. So you could do this. You know, Chris, this is a little bit weird because you might want it to, like, if it was a wait, I could see this being good. But let's just try this. So let's say, you know what, we can actually try this in give it a real try. So let's pull something from GitHub's API. Okay. So we're pulling from API GitHub, and we're going to get current user URL. That's going to be our thing. Yeah. So fetch. We're going to fetch that. We're going to dot then. We're going to i.json. Okay. Now we're going to dot then. Now we get our response. Okay. And then this response. Here's the hard part, Chris. Response dot current user URL is what we want. But let's say that we had, like, you know, let's just call it URL that starts out as an empty string. This is tough, man. All right, let's try this. Let URL, we're just going to initialize it. Then in here, we're going to set URL, and then URL is going to be set to URL. Wrap your head around that. Okay. Adrian, hey, nice. Good to see you. All right, so this is what we're dealing with right now. X data items. We're going to call this foo because that's just better because we keep changing what it is. And then in here, we'll have a span with X text is URL. Okay, prepare yourselves. This would be pretty kind of weird if it worked, actually. Alpine examples. This is my own like code pen for working on Alpine. All right, and I think it didn't work. We have an error, cannot read property length of null. What did we do? Yeah, it's weird. URL is null. Right, it starts out as null, so we'll default it to blabab. Okay. Refresh. We says blabab. Wait a second. And we made the API call and got the response back. Like, you know, if we did, man, this is tough. This is actually tough. Because I don't know. All right, let's say this. Let's say let data equals URL blah, 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 blah. Okay. That's what we got. Now fetch from the API, set data.url is equal to response.current-user URL. This is not going to work. I know it's not going to work. And there's a specific reason why it's not going to work. And then do this. So I just kind of want to explore this because it actually is kind of a cool idea. So watch this. And if foo could be async, right, you would want foo to be async. Yep, so that you could await this, which would hold up the rendering, which is fine, but then you want a loading spinner, and now you're in this, looking into something like React Suspense, which I would love to offer something like that with Alpine. Story for another time, though. So, yep, we made the call, and now I'm actually curious. Here's a little tip for everybody at home. There should probably be an easier way to do this, but if you select, so first, if you highlight this in your DevTools, the root of the component, then you have access to it like this. That's just a DevTools thing. But __x gives you the actual component object, and data gives you the data. So I wonder if we say data.url, what? current user URL. Oh, that's what we want, right? Yeah. But we need to trigger a refresh because that's the problem here is setting this. You guys are so lost, I guarantee it. The problem is that we're setting this data, but it's not yet wrapped in the proxy that detects data changes. So we need to manually update this component. So if we do update elements, all right, and then that's the root L. Okay, now watch this. Then it works. So wrap your head around that. Thanks for the suggestion, Chris, but it is something that we should explore is like, how could you basically React suspense? I think that is a fantastic pattern and is much better than doing something like this, where loading equals true, and then this dot loading equals false. So, all right, all that being said, let's back out of this little thing. Good suggestion, Chris. I'm glad we went down that road. Thank you. So option A is the obvious option, right? Like it's the simplest thing. Okay, here's option C. We're getting high level here, but why not? Option C is this weird? Is this weird that you're just registering a global function? I think it is. I mean, we're doing it right now because it works. I didn't have to make any changes to Alpine. I just realized that this works, so just use it, you know? But I know that people would want something like this, alpine.component or something, alpine.component, and then you specify like foo, and then you pass in your data, like bar is Baz, right? Like people want this, so that here you could say foo, and then that. That's what people want. So that is possible. It wouldn't actually be that difficult to implement. I'm not even sure it would be a breaking change. Maybe it would, but that's kind of the third option because now it makes more sense. Well, either way, it's like, what would we do here? Would we, have data and then a init? And then I feel like we're recreating Vue.js, There's something so sleek about just a singular data object where your data is intermingled with its methods. And I really don't want to recreate Vue.js because just use Vue if you're going to recreate Vue.js, Anyway, I think the path of least resistance. I'm curious to hear thoughts. Yo, what's up? Hey, Ryan, really glad you're on here. X component equals foo. That's pretty interesting. Wow. That's beautiful. Oh, man. Everybody just stop and thank Ahmed. That's actually kind of brilliant. It's brilliant. It would be a non-breaking change to add this. You know what? I bet somebody already suggested this. If somebody did, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that you have to watch me discover something on my own. Isn't this already kind of a thing, using window variables for the data? And that is what kind of a thing? So I don't know if you were on, Ryan, but we did talk about doing this sort of thing where you return a data object. But people aren't huge fans of this, and I get it. It's a little bit awkward. Like, why are we just declaring global functions? I think that's not great. Yeah, right, Ryan, you're right. But I guess we're talking about a syntax that feels a little more concrete for registering components. Xstore is foo. Adrian, that's also a good idea. All right, so maybe this is just going to turn into a nice brainstorming session because there really is some good brainstorming going on. Xstore is foo. Yeah, I did and was rejected. Margulan, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Did you recommend this and did I reject you? Also, I want to add that it's very possible that I reject good ideas in pull requests because something like this, if you pull requested this today, it probably wouldn't be exactly what's in my head, and it's such a huge shift that I would feel like I kind of need to tackle this one on my own. So sorry about that. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Fair enough. Right. Okay. Chris Pitt. What about construct as the default executed method, so it's more like JS? Yeah, interesting. Well, that would be in a class. Like if you returned a class, you know. So maybe that's how we recommend people do them, is like okay, what about this? Your component, okay, doesn't have to extend anything. Constructor, and then inside your constructor you do stuff. Then maybe, yeah, I don't know, maybe you have like I don't love it. So you can share store between components. Adrian, you're totally right. It's a tad out of the scope of what we're talking about, but I'd love to talk about that like right after. You're right though. I have needed the global store myself, and I couldn't figure out an easy way to do it and keep reactivity. Constructor. Yeah. Yep. Margolin. Hello, darkness, my old friend. X gun, give it to you. What? Oh, we have a troll on here, folks. Jesse is a troll, no doubt. Not just having constructor inside your Alpine.component. Yeah, I don't know. I feel weird about that because I think people would think, unless this is something you can actually do in JavaScript, but it's an object literal. So I would feel weird about doing something that confuses people like that, you know? I kind of get it. I do get it. But yeah. So I don't know. I guess I'd be thinking something more along the lines of this, that you just declare, like you declare your state here, like foo and bar and baz and boop and toop, stuff like that. And then here would be your init. Problem with this, you know, I don't mind this, but like then you have more methods like open down here, you know, it just feels a little bit intermingled, and it feels a little bit magical that like for some reason init just magically gets called, you know? Like I could kind of see the argument for doing something like data that returns an object. Yeah. This is another thing, is using an object literal is a little tough rather than a function that returns an object. Xtroll is false, xlove Caleb equals true. Oh, Jesse, what a guy. All right. Ryan, the global store is what keeps coming up on the repo. Definitely one I've been looking into too. Yeah. The global store would be nice. I totally agree with that. So let's get some clarity on what we think about this. Let's distill down some of these options. So first, look at this line, everybody, and put in the chat +1 or -1 if you think this line is a good syntax for registering a component. So first this line, and then we'll kind of go through some other ones. I personally like this. I think it's the most logical API, like Alpine Global, yep, .component for register, and then foo. Lifecycle hooks could be reserved words like xinit, xmounted. Yeah, I just hate the way that looks, xinit, but you're right. Lifecycle hooks could just be reserved. Yep. Or maybe they're underscored. Oh, that'd be interesting. What if it was like this? Like that. That's kind of cool. Anyway, sticking with this line, I'm looking for +1s and -1s. We're getting +1s across the board. 0. Halfway in between. Base 64. I don't know what base 64 is. I'm so sorry, but I'm going to hide user on this channel. I don't know what it is, but I have a low tolerance for trolls after last week's mishap. All right, so most people dig it. 0, I guess, means indifferent, right? Because I said +1 or -1. I think it opens up the door to more Alpine methods such as Alpine.directive. I think you're totally right, Ryan. This is a step forward. I agree. Okay. So let's open up the README and let's get a roadmap going. I think I have a roadmap. Yeah, this is the V3 roadmap. So V3, I have some massive plans for V3. I started hacking on something yesterday that is actually pretty freaking cool, I think. Like, it's a big fundamental architecture shift in Alpine, but it could potentially make Alpine faster than every other JavaScript framework because it's so minimal. Yeah, things like Alpine.directive. I think you're right. I do think you're right. I do declare. All right, so this is move from xref to ref for view parity. That's the only thing we have on the roadmap. Add new component constructor syntax, and then here is it so far. So this is make this JS, and this is going to be alpine.component. Yep. Foo. And then this is your component object. Okay. Me and Simon, is it Simeon? Simo? He's like Simo Todd. That's how I say it in my head. We're looking at alpine.directive before, easy enough to accomplish and can be done without compilation too. Inline script tag. Inline scripts tag, yeah. Yeah, okay. Yep, that's true. That is true. More features equals more kilobytes. You're right. You are definitely right. And I think we could do some of this stuff without too many extra kilobytes. In my mind, 10 kilobytes, I want to stay in the single digits. That's kind of a loose goal for Alpine for me. So if we get to that point, I might, I'm going to really evaluate things on V3 and maybe slash some things. Can we add a dot directive to the roadmap too? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, okay. Add alpine.directive. I'm going to put a question mark just because I haven't thought too hard about it myself. I think it's great. I do. Dot directive, and this would be like, I don't know. Like, would it be x hyphen foo or just foo? But I don't know. It would probably be foo, and then you would use it like x foo. Yeah. Story for another time. So let's just shorten this up and say add alpine.component, and this would be foo, and then this is the data object. Okay. So back to our brainstorming. How do we feel about X component instead of X data? X data right now is the iconic way to boot up a component, but in the future, okay, for sure, Toggle. Something I love about Alpine is the size. Yeah, I definitely agree, Hans. I love it too, and I don't want to let go of it. But I do want to make a really useful tool. Size is not the only thing that matters. Innuendo intended. Yeah, but it is a good goal, and I'm glad you said it. All right. So, yeah. So this is, this damn latency. If we didn't have this latency, life would be so much better. If I stop the stream, can I pause it and restart it? Is that possible? Because I would really love to be able to talk to you guys more streamlined. If I end the stream, am I ruining everybody's day? You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to end the stream. David Hemphill. All right, lots of +1s on the X component. We can talk about that in a second. I'm going to hit end stream. I'm going to reduce the stream latency to low latency, and then I'm going to restart the stream. Hopefully the world doesn't blow up and everybody's still here. I think I can do this. Here we go. I'm so scared to do this. Let's Google this really quick. How YouTube Live does end stream and I don't even know, reduce latency. This is a horrible way to word it. Gonna cry now. I know. Just go for it? All right. Hemphill says go for it, and he doesn't give an F, so we're doing it.